harbor walls that really you could customize your experience on the site. But we did see how the harbor can also falter in our previous series. So we'll see how Revitalized will show us how it's done on their attack. And I think there's a lot more pressure being on the attacking side because you have to well, really execute your game plans. And this is the Revitalized map pick. So let's see what you got.
And they have 4 players looking to pounce into mid control. So this is going to be a big test for Blue Owl. Thankfully, well, actually, I was going to say thankfully, Storm Surge would be available to try to stall things for a bit. But Blue Owl decides to go for a Ghost instead. So we're going to have to play soft and try to go for extremity control potentially here for the side of the ISO on the defense for Raven.
You also will get to count how many times me and Vansily accidentally say meow. Because Cat's not going to be up there.
Just because you said it, I will.
Well, there's a swing. We don't have to waste any time. And Waster isn't going to do that either. 2 openers with that Ghost. And Catface will linger on the perimeter of this harbor wall. And Thump, I mean, crosshairs lined up. We'll see if the bodies will fall. Kind of a bait and switch from the defense. And it's almost going to be a flawless for this underdog team. Unless Elaborate wants to, you know, pull off a clip like Sleepy Arya did. But 1v5. Some damage on the other side. Ooh, and the fake out from Revitalize is pretty nice. A flawless pistol is a statement.
An interesting opener as well that we had for Catface going into the A main, because when they went for the undercut to fight double up on a defense on A main, they tried to jump through a cove. A cove. And usually the cove that's set on a one-way is set on a defensive line so that the attackers can't really take orb control on the A main side. Yet, you still try to jump through it and try to go for a fight and instantly got punished for it. And as you lose your defense on that side, the other ones are still flooding in from mid on the rest of Revitalized. So it didn't really give a chance for Catface to have the cleanest of rotates from mid over to the A site. And they had to face off against 5 players on a retake as they're holding line behind the Viper wall. So a tough call. This time around, the call is good. They have 4 players anchoring up towards this B site where Rev are slowly walking in to B. If they continue to hold some nice angles here and not give their positions away, they might have to set up some good crossfires.
Trying to keep their distance, and okay, 1 for 1. Raven putting a good dent into Revitalize, and it's costing them a lot of the firepower just to get into the site, and they have some unfriendly visitors, but Catface looking like praise at the end of the day as Revitalized took a pretty good gut punch in their anti-eco, hoping to maintain this 2 HP Bulldog. Thump maybe just hoping to play time as playing with their food. I really like this kind of bait and switch, just go back into cover, not full commit on these duels. Like, Revitalize are kind of tricky to duel against.
Yeah, especially when a drone already spotted the jump up here. It makes it easier for Thump to just get the timing as a double scan. The second scan, sorry, shows that the last player here for MEOW was still looking towards that front of that B site, so Thump can just walk around slowly, focus on that kill, playing the contact on as the owl drone goes in from ladder. So yeah, it's a nice little anti-eco, but still some great damage being put in here by MEOW. And that means that their bonus round for Revitalize is not going to be the strongest. Only 2 rifles carried over to this round, going back to the pistol round play, as the spam is good for Lunafox. Surprised that the Cove never came up here on the attack.
And that's how Thump has their first death in this whole game. Was 5-0, and Catface, that 5 gave them so much confidence. Oh wait, Revitalize are carving their path after Catface starting to get a little too creative going towards the attacker's spawn. They've left the most important real estate open, and it's the site. Now having to retake through a choke point. Well, if the spike's just going to be out in the open, you don't really expect the defenders to be, I don't know, towards your spawn on the flank already. But now you know. Scaredy, they 1 versus 3, but traded out. So Catface will scratch the surface of this breeze.
Worked out pretty good for them to move inside the site, but I agree with you. It's a bad plan, unfortunately, here, attempted by Revitalize when you've cleared out already everything towards that backside, and you've already seen towards arches that nobody's there. You got to maybe try to have a more secure plan in the back of that B site instead of towards that front when you don't have any inserts on that side in the first place for Revitalize at the beginning of that round. But that said, though, it was a bonus round that you had for Rev. You still dropped 3 rifles in the first place, so the buy is not going to be the best for Catface. You only have a Guardian for Raven, who's trying to watch us towards that main side again. And by the way, it's the second time that they try to fight through their own one-way on that defensive line for Catface. It worked that second time around, but I mean, the more that they're going to try to do this, the more that's going to be read by Revitalize, and they can keep there, insert it there, do some damage.
Spike down B.
Pretty serious damage. Catface already costed their sentinel towards B. And they keep trying to go for these contact plays to get information, to really not wait around. They're so eager to get involved, and Revitalize gotten one objective down. Now just going in one by one is not going to help the odds for Catface, but hey, they worked their perimeter around the site, and Revitalize find themselves backstabbed and now underground. A big retake out of Kestrel.
Yeah, beautiful Storm Surge thrown by Blue Owl as well to stun both players as Kestrel was about to get picked off. Literally just about, until that Storm Surge saved her, because she was actually whiffing a couple of shots in the first place on the first player that came through, and it only makes sense. She was still trying to look around the cove for the players walking out and had her crosshair placement at the wrong place and had to flick back to try to capitalize on a kill. But thankfully that allows here Blue Owl to get a double assist for that stun and for Catface to tie up the game and still make it difficult right now for themselves in this next round, because this is still Revitalized having another rifle round because the amount of plants that they've gotten so far in this game. A huge swing round potentially coming up here for either of these teams.
Revealing area.
Knives out from Kestrel. A lot of focus into this A main. As we wait to see the double doors push. Blue Owl, a lot on their plate. And wow, kind of thought Elaborate would have had that. Crosshair was almost there. Revitalized with an opener. And they set sail towards B after that, after weakening that side of the map, especially with the lurks from Waster. And they just waste anyone in their path, so works out beautifully for Revitalized to not let Catface form a potential win streak.
The scaling's pretty good so far from Rev. Utilizing double walls too to section out the back of that B site. It allows for them to stay on site as well, but here's the Blade Storm coming in from Kestrel.
Trying to get above it. Oh, the Harbor Wall just barely protects them.
One enemy
The ISO shield cracks, and so do the hopes of Catface to have a good enough retake. They were really focused on trying to get around the back walls on the right side, and Revitalize are that much quicker to adapt, to have to really leverage their Viper, or not the Viper, the Harbor Walls from Kit to protect themselves, and Catface could not find a way in after.
And value off the TP as well from Thumb to escape the front of that B lane, and also to play post plant pretty much in that point. And even if Thumb TP's out in the open and gets picked off in front of the B main, it allows for Rev to get information in the post plant scenario to put themselves in advantageous positions to still try to win the round in their favor. Talked about an important swing round as well. The money's still pretty decent, at least for Catface, because of that weapon that was saved by Blue Owl, to have a strong rifle round around here, the buy that Blue Owl was able to save going into this round. Meanwhile here for Revitalize, they got a flawless in that previous round, so they're pretty good to buy for this round and the next should they lose this one here, but things are pointing towards this should be okay for their side, because they could actually go for an aggressive hit towards this A site, hit and play the Hunter's Fury on the pulse plan.
Breaking down.
Yeah, and for Revitalize to have all their kills concentrate into a couple players, these early ults could be huge, and Luna Fox already trying to relieve pressure and to force hesitation into the Revitalized camp. But if anything, that's one thing off the table that Revitalized don't have to worry about. Now you're looking to see what is going to be the scaredy play style. Hopefully not to the name. Maybe more Sleepy Aria where you go in guns blazing, but this drone's about to spot the whole squad. So Revitalize got to take advantage of this moment. Dimensional drift to get towards the back line. Now back to safety. Guns blazing here for Scaredy with the overdrive. The kill contract will settle things down as Scaredy is still back in the arena. But hey, you delayed the Neon just for a second. And the offensive Hunter's Fury, a lot of ults. Revitalized have only gotten a 2 versus 2, still the spike, but Scaredy to deny the defuse as Luna Fox takes care of both at both sides. That is insane. And Catface will tie.
Question marks going into the exit for Revitalize into that A site. First off, the way that they tried to re-hit towards A, I don't really like the timing of it in the first place. Because when you had a defensive Hunter's Fury ping out towards that front A site, it didn't hit anybody. So you had an opportunity to wait a bit, to force a rotate out, to force a hand of players to peek out or to get early util out and then re-hit later on. But instead, they say, hey, we're here. Let me throw a Viper Wall up and let me start executing in. But I'm like, okay, well, they're going in with a Dimensional Drift. They could combine Dimensional Drift and go with the Hunter's Fury on top of that, going old school style with those two ultis together. And they did none of that, which then allowed here MEOW to really get into position to fight. And eventually you have a beautiful clutch coming in from Lunafox at the end.
And Lunafox has been such a flexible player when it comes to Catface, one of the longest standing members, and it's a ton of years of experience under the belt. From playing duelists to initiators, whatever the team needs, as an early reckoning. It's no one kind of going in blindly as Revitalize will take the space afforded to them. Now it's up to Blue Owl to kind of keep themselves alive until reinforcements come in, but it's desperation for Catface. And coming down to some huge clutch plays from Blue Owl to swing out with their team, confirm 3, and annihilate Revitalize before they settled.
Yeah, and Blue Owl was one of those players that didn't really have like the consistent, oh, I'm a controller that's going to dominate the anchors every single time, but she's definitely had her moments. And I remember specifically on how she was playing the Omen, for example, on Split. And this time around with, as you mentioned, they went for the gamble play to push out towards the A main. It allowed here Revitalize to say they have to be weak on site. Let's just rush into the A site. But Blue Owl had once again a beautiful stun with the Storm Surge, slowed down the attack, stayed alive as well, and jiggled with her teammates to allow for herself to get a triple, maybe even a quad going into that round. So it's just very nice little plays out on that side for the anchoring positioning from Blue Owl and putting Revitalize into an eco here.
Worked out through good gunplay. Okay, just sliding right into the barrel. Easy for Blue Owl. Now their morale is up for Catface, and you can't say the same about Revitalize, who tried to tail in and get out. Now hoping to pick up the spike and continue, but hoping Waster creates a better opportunity. They can find where Kestra is on the site. Now it's tough. You're facing a Vandal, and there's a Marshal and a Sheriff, and all the bodies are about to hit the floor.
Yep. And Kestrel already knew here that the clone was coming out, so just waiting for the re-peek from Thump. Thump, who actually had two really nice Sheriff shots in the first place, but can the Marshal do anything? It's going to get upgraded into a Vandal, so maybe a win con here, trying to fake that tap.
30 seconds left.
Hey, crossing in front like that. Kestrel could trade a bit quicker to keep the Labrate alive, but all good. I think Catface still have very strong mechanics that can bail them out at times where the ults aren't as impactful, whether it's the Zero Reckoning or Kestrel. I don't even know if the Blade Storm, but the kill contract couldn't stop Scaredy. The defensive Hunter's Fury from Lunafox delayed but didn't kill. So I think there's so much more to Catface that we've yet to see, and this is maybe some warm-up rounds, but hoping to get more value out of the ults, which, hey, one away from the Hunter's Fury could be really nice.
They might be trying to work towards that, as it's a B main pop to start. Oh yeah, we're going full in.
Oh geez, Reckoning raining down on the Catface defense. Oh, you know the full setup though, so that's a lot of information that Lunafox just gave you, but you're not able to capitalize on it when there's Viper's Pit, Viper's Wall, and you only have an op to try and poke and prod through. At least you're putting Revitalize into submission. There's a lot of fear trying to face this op, so they're all going to be turtled up into this pit as soon as they leave. Look, Catface are completely surrounding this pit, and now it's an all-out brawl. The walls come crashing down, and it's Thump with a couple of taps and a flash to end it. Oh, 8 HP for Kestrel. Guardian Angel on their side, and that's the whole reason. Thump eventually Red Bull clutches it. But wow, what a round from this Yoru.
Dude, what an insane dodge out from Kestrel, but unfortunately there's not enough time to really do anything at the end of that. But yeah, it was a beautiful round by Thump. I was looking at it from the chaos that was ensuing towards that B site. because they're playing on site too, and you're droning for information, but everybody's stuck to play inside that pit, Thump actually left a TP out towards that main. And when MEOW went for that double flank in, and they finally made a lot of noise, pre-firing shots when they're clearing corners back into the front B main, Thump TP's out. Even though they didn't get a kill, they clutched that 1v3 in the end. So that was really good to get out of danger and save that round here for Revitalize, sorry.
Very close game. Fury trying to take advantage of that tagged player. Tuck towards the right, and Luna Foss getting something for their troubles, if anything, shutting down the Hunter's Fury from S. So really fun push and pull that's happening. And as things slow down, you have the Owl Drone checking out mid, a Dimensional Drift that'll get very safe information around A. But now having to decloak in the face of danger, a ready to take risk, but with the flash out, it's enough to destabilize the backline of Catface. A huge advantage now for Revitalize, still having the harbor wall up until now.
And it's Cove's gonna make things difficult though for the retake for Catface. Somehow you still get a spray through that, so see how that plans out after as the advantage comes in. In terms of still HP for the side of Revitalized in this post plant.
Here's the jump in, and now not a lot of time for Catface to salvage this. Making any repurchases from the Revitalized side is good. And we end up being tied 5-5. It's definitely feeling like both teams are punching back at each other. No real big win streak is being formed. No real momentum is being generated without some kind of pushback.
Yeah, and another one of those no combination between the Dimensional Drift and the the Dimensional Drift and the Hunter's Fury from both Thump and but at the same time, I do like how Thump entered for the team. As they moved in and got information around that site, I'm not sure if it was a relay bolt or a storm surge that was thrown by Scaredy or by Kit, but you saw 2 players stunned in the back of yellow because of the information gained by the Yoru, and they got the opener that way. So nice little combination there. A walk down, and unfortunately punished this time around, not quick enough for the TP as Catface are on an eco and just looking for some damage here.
Yeah, Elaborate is the one that gets snapped now, and these solo holds really are making things easy for Revitalize to bring the clock into the picture. And just knowing exactly where Catface are coming from. These reads are incredible from Revitalize.
One enemy remaining.
Sussing out the flank immediately before it even happens. Now it's Blue Owl, almost said Otter, but Blue Owl now with a Sheriff, and by the time I figure it out, flawless for Revitalize. Last round of the half coming up.
Yeah, and last round of the half where they have money to work with and big ults too. So already we're also pulling out the big guns. So Elaborate coming out with the chamber op, which I think I like the idea of what they're trying to do. She was trying to do by walking down towards that front B line, but the 2 times that she's done it was with a rifle and a handhunter and never with an op. And this time, the reason why she's setting up here towards the east side is more to look down towards middle. So expect an early push towards that side. Realize that that spot is clear, which will give a chance here for all 3 players on that B side to be ready to counteract on the Rev hit on B.
There's the stack and the reckoning. But the kill contract, hey, Raven's gonna dodge that storm for now, and it's gonna reemerge right in the middle of it, unfortunately for them. So really needed your teammates to shoot back. Unfortunately for them, the site is open for the taking. And now you have the counter reckoning final round. Elaborate with the off and Revitalize of a crossfire, and it is getting broken in half for the trades. The harbor wall does make things difficult, but hey, Kit takes care of it.
Yeah. Fortunate there on the trap head that are trying to do towards that B site, but when you're looking at the composition for the side of Catface, they'll try to hold B the way that they did. They have no stalls on that side. Blue Owl still, I think if I'm not mistaken, still playing towards that A side on that rotate, right? So you're thinking about a Jet and maybe even a Silva. No way you could stall a rush in from the side of Revitalized into that B site. So you can't get true value out of Raven's kill contract. So it ends up being a nice round at the end for Revitalized to put themselves in a lead in the second half and also taking advantage of the defense with this comp. All ghosts across the board. Util though with 2 shock darts. I'm going to try to play that double stall here over on that A site with Kit as the harbor. And that's exactly where the opening is coming in from Catface.
There's been some really big pop-off players, whether it's Luna Fox and that 1v2, Blue Owl with a 3K at some point, Kestrel as well, Revitalize, have to face the music though, and the chaos of the harbor wall, where things get a little hairy. Revitalize, now sit on the outside looking in. S trying to be as safe as they can behind cover. Okay, nice headshot. Just unfortunately couldn't get back into hiding before the trades came out. 2 left. Waster and Scaredy trying to swing together, but if this cove comes down, they're about to get crunched. Now sitting on the spike and maybe had more time to go for kills. Either way, Blue Owl will not let you live.
Yeah, it should have been a tap and then try to fight together, especially when you're in a 2 versus 3. You're trying to force stick it to halfway when the spike's freshly platted. You're just putting yourself at a disadvantage on a 1v3, basically, as one of them has to stick. But I like what I saw here from Catface on the exec. It was very quick. It was very clean as well. And they just were able to overtake that site. For the side of Rev, yeah, you did whatever you could with Kit and to try to hold back towards that A site. You tried to delay as much as you could. Kit had a nice first blood. But there's just too many players here from Catface who went for a full 5-player hit who are looking to do it for a second time around.
Ooh, a lot of tags there. Just wanted to update that Spiders took down that C9GC 2-0 in a very close series. We'll keep you updated on the other matches. As the Santi-Eco trucks along, S, okay, tried to put a good dent there. And hey, Catface are covering their bases. Some go right, some watch left. Even when there's that immediate clap back from Revitalize, Catface are ready for it. Sometimes the aim gets a bit shaky, but Revitalize, they won't let him be getting a flawless at this point. Get a 10 HP. Don't even have a chance. So we have ourselves another tie game.
I like this too, as we're also min-maxing the orb points for the side of Catface, because Luna Fox, beautiful double tap that she's gone towards that A site. As you mentioned, some players went towards that left side, and that was Luna Fox tapping 2 towards that mid double doors. Feels that she could get a third one, but as she finally loses her life, then you actually try to let Blue Owl pick up the last kills so that she could get closer to the Reckoning. So right now they do the same type of open because it really hasn't been tested or contested for the side of Revitalized, who are looking to potentially do it this time around.
Catface already with a...
I'm out of here.
This third round of the half. Oh my god. What a slip by there from Scaredy. Mechanics on point, traded out, and we're left with even odds. Wondering how S is going to position here when being solo, reinforcements are there, but thinking enough of an impact has been made into this attack that the round is going to be slowed down, and S wants to be really safe to play off of maybe their own drone if needed, but feeling like they're going to have time now. Oh! Wall kind of creates that fake. Raven gets a 1-tap on the right. S looking for a moment, and oh! Just
take flight.
Unfortunate timing of checking out main. Now the jig is up. At least Waster is in the picture no longer. And the mechanics of Catface are very strong when they're in a confident position. It's better late than never. Is S in a 1v2. Can't deny the op and can't deny Raven.
I have to agree, actually, with you as well, Lemon Q, when it comes down to Catface on how they've improved mechanically from stage to stage, year after year. Because if you're looking at Luna Fox, that's probably the most known, maybe, name that you've seen in the past from the 24 Haven days. Like when the first iteration of GC's Game Changers, came out here in the circuit. She was one of the first ones through. So thinking about playing this game 5-6 years since beta, and you're seeing how, you know, the ADSing, the tapping, the bursts are so accurate for players like Luna Fox and across the board this time around too. As much as I mentioned Blue Owl not being as consistent as I see usually on a controller player, look at our own right now.
Easy when there's not too, even through, I mean, the fire and the flames. Still able to confirm that. There's a Marshall being annoying. That's from S. The Yoru's now teleporting in, but right into the crosshair of Kestrel. So
one enemy remaining.
Catface, this will be their 4th round in a row. Not only the bonus to momentum on their side, S will make it as expensive as possible as Luna plays with her food. And I think Catface are are starting to get back to their form that we're used to.
Yeah, playing with confidence too, to jump around like that and just go for a shuck dart at the feet instead of just trying to fly by with a rifle to guarantee the kill. You still have to come in here going to that previous round with the nice little martial shots that they've gotten. That's 2 nice little picks that they got. Did a little bit of econ damage. But this time around, it's still money flowing with the amount of consecutive rounds, as you mentioned, Lemon Kiwi, that was picked up so far here by Catface. Going into a 2-1-2 setup. So as you see on this side for Catface, they consistently and continue to add this pressure on this A line. But as now you only have 2 players on that side, you're selling that bait, you're forcing these rotates, and the op should get the pick on mid if the wall was down.
Raven's just been on one when it comes to these kill contracts, and it's always important to have a teammate nearby too, because Revitalize are quick to pounce on these ISOs coming out of the ult. Now Catface just shred anywhere in their path. This has been every duel one, untraded on the side of Catface. Wondering if S and Thump here try to knock on this door real quick. Scaredy to start making a lot of speed. Now sectioned off, and Catface are just gonna sit pretty at a distance. But that lets time for Revitalize to work their magic. Now it's a 3 versus 5 comeback. Insane stuff. 1v1. Trying to get it halfway. Wait, Scaredy is sticking it. Elaborate. Does not get there in time. Wait, do they? They did. Oh my god, it looked diffused on my screen. That was insane.
Hey, it does say diffused, right?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was diffused. Under the overlay it said
okay.
red, got the diffuse. Yeah,
I got
At the end of the day, yeah.
Okay.
I had to say, some nice shots coming out from Kestrel, but as you said, they're playing 4 back for Catface. It looked good, because Lunafox, they were trying to play the Hunter's Fury towards the end, but because of that pressure that came out in that flood retake on that side, Lunafox felt like she had to swing out to try to save her teammates, and she got caught right away by Thump, so they never were allowed to use the Hunter's Fury towards the end. And because of that, it just made it difficult for Elaborate to just book it down and try to go for that pick on that 1v1. So just a small fumble that came through for Catface, but that could prove costly, because Revitalize to close it in here on that lead. Only 1 round here to tie things up, and the econ is starting to finally dwindle down on the side of Catface.
Nice early round Hunter's Fury, but Lunafox finds value. Another big opener, and the op is still part of the equation for Catface. Now after kind of losing that 5 versus 3 round, though, I want to see them close it out and not just be on standby. And look, they're going to get proactive, extending out of the site. You don't want to completely give up the site either. It's Revitalized cutting in through mid, watching carefully as Catface just kind of tap away as what's left of Revitalize. Well, I mean, even won that round and even confused me because they just held the defuse there. I don't think anyone would do that. So, pretty fun series we're having so far.
Yeah, I love the micro decisions coming out from MEOW as well to push forward, because that Hunter's Fury, as you mentioned before, Lunafox gets full value out of it, gets a kill, and calls out that double push from that bottom of the spawn. So as that happens, everybody's accounted for it to say, okay, well, these guys are probably trying to go for the aggro push and aggro flank. Let's just flip that map. And as they flip the map for the plant in the back of that B site, you still had Kestrel consistently pushing out towards the defender spawn so that the other 2 could just focus on arches to jiggle back and forth to play the bait and switch into the tunnel and then still have Elaborate off towards that front of that B main. So it was very nice in terms of understanding where your opponents will be coming from based on the space that you're taking, based on the calls that you're making. So Catface are, again, as I mentioned before, putting a lot of hours in. It shows that they're a complete team that puts a lot of thought into how they're opening the rounds and how they're reacting going into the information that they get. So it's very nice to see.
Even just shooting the recon so that the ops can stay hidden in mid. Revitalize gonna leverage their Viper's wall to see if anyone has crossed the threshold of mid. Now you got a dimensional drift from Thump with a bucket to respawn. It's Revitalized with their shenanigans yet again. Wonder if this gets the attention of Elaborate. Meanwhile, Revitalize hold the line. The defense is ironclad. Catface are fighting tooth and nail as Raven is dipping in and out of the harbor wall to confuse the opponents. Equal numbers, equal chances. Spike hasn't been planted. Revitalize spell, flood in the water, but unfortunately they're the ones drowning. Not able across these pyramids. This Blue Owl could have a wraparound. They are being heard, though. These Revitalize are going to just watch them leave, or at least they got to elaborate in the back for that. Now it's the race to B.
All works. They understand where the rotate's going to be coming from too, though. All of this is all still very nice. It's just Elaborate that missed that shot, but all that protocol was good. Elaborate was going to be the contact for the crossover, get the information, and hopefully put them in a 2 versus 1. But because they know where the rotates are coming from, they're still in a winnable condition, in a winnable position on a 2 versus 2 here for Kestrel and Blue Owl.
Kestrel, very confident in their read. The steps heard. Oh, one step from S, though, and now it's like, might as well go in, guns blazing, and Kestrel just closes the book on that chapter, and that gets Catface up to 11.
Yeah, and just staying crouched in front of the boxes because the idea was, well, or they're coming in from middle, or they're coming in from spawn. Just because we knew where the last players were at fighting from the A main side, and because of that clone that comes out towards spawn, because of Revitalize seeing that the pressure of the clock is against them as well, they started making a lot of noise, and that just allowed Kestrel to sweep up the last 2 kills quite easily, showing a dominant attack side so far by Catface. Should have been flawless so far if it wasn't for that ninja defuse that came through on that 1v1. Now here comes a drone for a hit into the B site. Early pressure into elbow, which I like, but it's already taken down by Elaborate. I love it.
Oh, no kill contract friend today, Raven, but still the space created. The recon unshot towards the back. Catface step into the place like they own it, but Revitalize have a 4-person retake off a Reckoning. Could be pulled at any second here from Kit. Now aiming it right towards that corner, maybe. Oh, Kestrel does get tagged from it, but Catface try to bail them out. Blue Owl, these multi-kills is insane, and Catface get to match point.
Match point.
Continuing the dominance on the attack side as well. This is just all very nice here from Catface. I know it sounds like I'm really glazing here the team on the attack side, but it's really hard here for Revitalize to really get anything done. Despite them reading the calls and knowing where the hit's coming from, when they're trying to wait for the smokes to dissipate, trying to find where they could work as a team to double swing towards one angle, where Catface goes for the opposite. Because of different positioning, they're allowing themselves to get the information of like, hey, we don't have to fight this, we could avoid it, and then cut them later on in a different rotate. So right now it's just some nice little calling coming out here on the IGLA side, sorry, of Catface, and going back into the tried and true, going back into creating more pressure over on that A side and forcing players to peek. And that was actually spotted right there, but Waster knows that Elaborate is currently perched up in the window of that long B side as well.
Waster is, well, not like a cat having 9 lives, but okay, just flashing out. Dismantles the op, and Catface will have to get their revenge one way or the other. Now going above and beyond, but oh, got distracted by the ISO util, so Thump is traded. Catface now have Waster out in the open, which, whoa, these taps with the Guardian are pretty good. And that gives Revitalize another fighting chance in this game, or else it would have been all over for them. And this is the Revitalize map pick. Really needed a win here, and at least they have to settle for a round win.
It feels good though for them to be able to get a clean round, that they didn't have to really fight tooth and nail to try to get the defuse on a 1v1 to get a round in their favor, and a little bit of room to breathe as well. What was good at least is that they had a strong start going into the half. A 7-5 in their favor here that gives them a little bit of space to make mistakes and to understand here how Catface are approaching the map on the attack side. And as they see here for Catface, the amount of times they've been defaulting 2 players over on the A side and never really got contested by the defense of Revitalize, they want to go for the same type of stuff, but then this time a 5-player hit.
Such an early Hunter's Fury. You just send all of Revitalize scattering behind the ISO wall, just making sure they can deal with any close quarters inserts, and Kid kind of baiting out to see if they can set up Scaredy, who hasn't swung yet, and just couldn't do better than a 1-for-1. Catface is able to bail each other out. Big moments where Revitalize could have pulled off some magic. 1-person advantage for Catface. Will it be the end-all be-all? Labry takes damage, is out. Raven will take the mantle. Revitalize, it's all up to Thump. And now
Attackers
nothing.
win.
13-9 on Breeze to Catface.
And around here, Revitalize kind of felt that there was going to be a lot of players moving in towards this A side for this, try to backstab players as they execute through. So I wonder if Rev themselves have been watching a lot of VCTs and trying to mimic some of the greats currently that are playing on Summit. Whereas here for Catface, they're building their own meta, which I'm all for it.
And even on the Revitalize side, like Thump, yes, showed us the Yoru, which is already a more unique look to Game Changers post buff, like you said. But overall, Thump has been mainly initiator for this squad for the past 2 matches, and even just looking at Waylay stats, like only 3% of their time in the past 2 months has been on Waylay. So this is going to be a get in, get out, get information, and hope that Scaredy kind of makes all the magic happen. But we'll see how practiced Revitalize are. We'll get our first looks here on the pistol, as Revitalize did kick off our pistol last round, but it's Catface map pick, and they already look like they own the place.
Yeah, lots of utils for the flood into the side. They're even clearing back towards drops. I'm loving this from Catface so far. So
Spike planted.
util's really good. This is what I'm talking about. The Cypher hiding around the site.
Like, Waster is just in the middle of this party, and no one knows that they're not invited. Like, how is the Cypher still here? Is hoping to recombine, regroup with Revitalize, as every choke point has been shut down. And Waster, unfortunately, hesitating on the trigger, means not a single kill has been earned from Revitalize on that pistol.
Yeah, and just from looking from that single pot from Catface, that is so much util that doesn't allow for you to play any of the lines on the left side of the line of scrimmage from where Waster was hiding after. You have no choice but to kind of play soft sight, because the undercut takes the whole left lane that double damages you if you're getting hit all the way back towards drop, while you have the paranoia on the right side. So if you're trying to dodge the undercut, then you're getting hit by a paranoia, and then you're getting dived in by Kestrel with Blue Owl on the TP. So that's kind of nice. Let's keep an eye on that as we move down to the later rounds. But the second round looks like Catface wants to test out how the A side's being held, so they're going for their own pop on that side.
That was a 4-person paranoia from Kid, allowing them to find small amounts of shelter. As even Scaredy is going to be chased off. Revitalize could have had that moment to swing out, but there's so much hesitation from Revitalize, clearly showing the lack of confidence on this map, and maybe because they have pistols and, you know, it's a Catface anti-eco, but hey, the Bandit can still do a lot of damage. A 3K for Scaredy before all is said and done, and this round is done, as only 2 of those weapons into the bonus, but hey, one of them's a Vandal.
Great shots from the Bandits, though, and again, a little bit of an overcommitment over Balloonifox, jumping forward with a shock dart instead of trying to run through and trade with her teammates, and that could have been a very scary position, no pun intended, because the third lineup was about to happen until finally the 2 lurkers on middle came in and came in for the support and the save here for the side of Catface. And so far, if I'm looking at it, though, from how Rev is currently playing this, we're always putting this trip at the same spot. So there's not really big changes coming through as to how Rev are trying to leverage like the trips or the position of the cages to play around the site. It's more to try to find active information around the site here, as you see it being plays in very forward positions.
Nothing that Waster could capitalize on. Maybe just allowing themselves to reposition around and to create that crossfire with S. So some ideas are being generated, and the Owl Droners, 2 of them are going to cross, but not as much information from S, not even able to cross that smoke choke point. So not a ton of information for Revitalize to go off of.
Yeah, all they're doing right now, though, for Catface is just cutting noise too and forcing these rotates to happen. So the Owl Drone at least spotted the other Owl Drone, and the trips towards that B side. So they have counted for 2 players anchoring towards B. Right now, as they're trying to over-rotate for the side of Rev, we're just waiting to stall and re-hit and regain that space on the second wave of util for the side of Catface.
Such a good ping off the dart, and Catface benefit. Even there's a lot of profits that's found in a pain sandwich, but trades coming in strong from Kit, crossing in through mid. So you're making Catface really cost a lot, despite them coming in so decisively, having advantages in the early round. Revitalize, there's a kick to them. It's Odin 1v2. The stack kind of worries me. Now Blue Owl and Elaborate can pay attention, but they're both watching the same thing, but at least they're doing so in cover, so it's leaving Thump in a bad position until now.
Yeah, nice little hold in the end too. As though you're talking about making it expensive for Catface, but it was a bonus round for them moving in. And now they get to upgrade into the Odin left behind here from a Thump in that previous round. So Thump trying to play a little bit of Cortezia style for the Sentinels by holding the Odin on the A side because of such a tight-knit corridor. When you're trying to execute towards the A main, if you're going to try to go for a heck mentality towards that front side, everybody's going to get mowed down. So you almost have to look for that mid-control and split towards A. As they were trying that, though, it's nice that Catface just stopped and went back into that B site and really caught a lot of players off guard. So Nico comes in for Revitalize, and they're not looking to find some early information for the setups for Catface so far. So they really are playing with a lot of question marks round after round, not knowing where the start comes in here for the attack side.
Yeah, it's kind of funny you don't play your Sova glued to your team who would want to drone in, recon, and set up your team, and going in blindly is how Revitalize can surprise you when they mostly have pistols. Wait, the Marshall hurts too. And Catface is the second time that also they've converted an attacking bonus, just like they did back on Breeze, and how they were able to ramp up towards a win in the end there. So Catface, though, are at a disadvantage. At least they didn't give any guns over to Revitalize.
Yeah, but is so good with this Marshall so far, winning that against an operator, and also a bit of pain point to Catface on Breeze before. But here's the hit onto the A site.
Oh, it's tough to win that. Yeah, tough to win that with the Sheriff. I think there's a really good idea, though, around that paranoia. It's a huge stack of Catface. It's now, how do you fight off of that paranoia? And doing so faster with more people and with the right setup. So I think Revitalize have something to work off of there. Catface still have the 3 left. Hoping to maintain this win streak. And Waster swings out and kind of jiggles well to go 1 for 1. As it's such an impact early in this round with the Marshall. Even winning against the Up, like you said. Has to do so now with the GC Sheriff against 2, and now being heard in the footsteps. You don't want to get spammed out of that smoke. You can't even get a ping. Catface are just on it.
As close, though, hit a 50 damage there onto Blue Owl by spamming through that smoke. Would have been a lucky kill to make it a 1 versus 1, but nonetheless, it's still an Odin waiting on the other side, getting ready to greet them as they're trying to move through the smoke. So, at the end of the day, it's still some great damage being done on Nico's side here for Revitalize, but still a round converted this time around by Catface, who are looking to 5-player hit towards this B main. Again, the trip's at the right spot, or same spot rather, easily gets broken by a shock dart left behind by Lunafox, and then they just go for the plow into the B site.
And reporting that Sen Otters won their series against Mask just now. And we'll get to see how Catface will maintain what they have. Now the 3 stack of Revitalize, and this is how this Waylay gets active. Now, not so much. Put to bed. S waits on the edge of the smoke for the right opportunity, and unfortunately it's against Chamber that just dips out, calls out your position, and Revitalize. Still, we're not punished, and if anything, here comes Scaredy Cat, who's apparently the final boss of B, but sits at the center of the site. Catface on the outside looking in, and Kestrel is just in this back line, being just terrorizing this squad as Revitalize can't get a handle of this summit map.
Yeah, there's only really Scaredy that's just getting good picks on duels, just being very reactionary and getting some good fights in their favor. But overall, I do agree with you. It's Catface that has great plans of executions, and Rev just trying to think as they go. You know, it's a couple of rounds, they're trying to anchor up, doesn't work. Oh, actually, hold on, let's hold that thought. We're getting ready for a full hit, so a big gamble coming out here by Revitalize. This will be an ult flash right off the rip and trying to get value from Scaredy. Will they be ready for this for Catface?
Big round for Revitalize. Biggest advantage they've had, but Raven will force the team to stick around until the kill contract has been complete, and they emerge. It's a huge round for Blue Owl to suffocate Revitalize off of this convergent path that was supposed to ruin Catface.
Right here.
That was so nice. You're getting hit by the ult, and you know what? Let me just kill contract you so I don't get hit by the ult anymore and still win that fight inside there. And just that in itself removed a lot of pieces of utility for the side of Revitalize, where they couldn't add this second layer behind the flash convergence path. And man, they all just got ran down right after. So like I said, this is Rev continuing to work things with whatever they've gotten going from round to round. So they tried to go for the hero play this time around with trap plays to make the obvious things, quote unquote, I say obvious because you're just trying to utilize big pieces of utility to try to win rounds, which unfortunately didn't work. But when it comes down to the single rounds for the site execs on B, you see that they're adding more cages. They're trying to fight behind it. They're trying to add more bodies around there as well. But there's just a scaling that's too good here for the side of the attack that doesn't allow here for Rev to get into good positions to win these rounds. And unfortunately, all he got is to save a Guardian into the next round too.
Lunafox is so clean though with these flicks. Like when there's danger at a different angle, she's so quick to turn. So Catface in commanding lead so far, just in this half, and elaborates up still something they can leverage. So Revitalize are starting to come up to that first wave of ultimates. Conversion pass didn't work out. So many choke points though on this map where S is really like those early Hunter's Fury, and you're looking for that information, you're looking for the confidence to pull the trigger, and the bow has been drawn. You gotta tag and you gotta kill. Huge for Revitalize to make this round a little easier. Here's the swing out. No, Revitalize not able to trade off of each other as S will look for a better opportunity off of Waster, and help did not come in time. Catface wastes no time. Now the spike will be down. Waster with the Guardian. Well, got Lunafox low enough, but this is still looking like Catface round.
That's the crazy thing, man. She's at 20 HP and could still scale solo and get picks like that. One away from getting the Hunter's Fury, so that's where you're trying to dash, trying to create a diversion so that you can come in for the kill. No matter what, this is still a Hunter's Fury available for the next round, so you'll take it. And especially here, going into the 2 versus 1, contact will be elaborate with the op. And that is another one down. Another one bites the dust, and it's 7 unanswered rounds for MEOW. And a Hunter's Fury to continue to topple some more rounds on the side of MEOW potentially here.
And there's people like Blue Owl that have only died once, which is pretty insane because that Omen is such a core piece of your fighting potential as a squad and their flood-ins, and clearly Catface are taking care of business. It's kind of like Shiraj, just kind of clock in, kill everybody, clock out type of vibes, and that's why they went to this map pick. We'll see if Thump kind of leading forward, maybe a paranoia. It does hit most of Catface. Still looking for targets, but it was more of like a get information, get out type of play, I guess.
Well, I mean, the drone really slowed them down as well. So as much as Revitalize are trying to go for early trap plays and damage, it just gets stalled by somebody that's just quicker on the trigger for Catface to react right away and not allow Revitalize to get value out of these early commitments that they're attempting, even though the flashes continue to get tremendous value at the beginning of the rounds.
I think you heard that drop there from Thump. I've been wanting to see Revitalize have more. They kind of look like they had some chances to be making sneaky plays out of smokes, but anyone's being sneaky, it's Catface. But now Scaredy gonna suss out the upcoming push and coming in through all the entries. Catface just remove everyone. Decent trade. You don't make it flawless, but it's not looking pretty for Revitalize to figure out this map when you don't seem to have a lot of time to figure it out.
No. Maybe they'll try to figure out the attack side pistol round only, because this is looking to be a 12-0 half with how good MEOW has been moving around this map. Waster, though, has snuck in and found an opening. Not any more than that. But I gotta say, man, bro, that TP from Blue Owl is insane. You remember on the pistol round we were talking about where Waster was kind of holding in the back of the boxes? That's usually a default spot for the defenders to take when they're getting flooded on either extremities, to just try to hold that line. Yet she TPs there, doesn't get shot, could have been shot through the box if she fully TPs. from Kit just on the other side, yet still sticks it because she trusts that no matter what, her teammates will be able to be there to trade for her. She never died. They just ran in and checked all their angles correctly again. And just comes to show the amount of scrim that comes in for Catface. It shows for this map.
A lot of the first bloods going Catface's way, where you'd love to use that neural theft that Waster's had for a few rounds now to feel like you're in control of the map just even a little bit, and now you're just hoping to walk down and hope for the best, maybe test some aim there, but Catface still looking amazing on this map. When all the action comes to you, to be fair, like Revitalize are kind of, we have pistols, they're going for a Hail Mary, and now it's 9-0.
Yeah, and they're understanding it too when it comes down to every single one of these rounds. Even when it's gun rounds, they tried to flash on an extremity and fight towards the area on A site earlier on with the ult. They tried to flash, try to go for a dive on the B main on another round as well, because now they understand here that Revitalize cannot get anything going on their defensive side. Even again, if you're looking at the trips that are being set up on defense this time around by Waster, it's not being placed to go for trap kills. It's just to try to find information. So Catface understands they have full control here of this map.
God, is Luna Fox gonna get another kill with this? Of course.
Yep.
She's just a sniper, but with a bow and arrow, I guess. Another first blood Catface's play, but liking to see Scaredy Cat get active. Like I said, you win or you die. By the Scaredy Cat here, and just couldn't find a target before the target found her. So Catface only up by 1. It's not over yet. It's taking damage. And Thump gets a trade, but the op doesn't let them really scrap through such close quarters like this. So flawless for Catface in terms of this map. See if the suffering will end soon for Revitalize. Like you said, maybe just a pistol coming up.
I feel like Breeze all over again when I'm doing nothing but glazing towards Catface and saying nothing for Rev, which is unfortunate because if you're looking at it so far, when we started out the series, I was going to mention that this is going to be a tough matchup for Catface, and it kind of showed earlier on Breeze as well, because Revitalize playing as Revenge in the past were looking unstoppable during the open and closed qualifiers, but now you're looking at a series where they haven't really played these maps. Now it really shows here that there are some gaps and some weaknesses.
Thump, though, kind of playing with their food there, or also the chamber on the other side. But hey, Catface getting shoved a bit. The pressure is on. The smoke is splitting up Catface, and Revitalize are looking so good. Waster doesn't even need a neural theft. It feels like the conversion path is just a condiment.
What are we doing?
To what could be happening here. For Revitalize, they have the spike. They just need to settle down.
Player standing.
And I guess trade off. Let's Waster taking over this round, but only has 5 HP. As
one enemy remaining.
Drone out. Elaborate is feasting. 1v1, the closest round we've had all of Summit.
Oh my god.
And it's a thrifty for Revitalize.
Oh man, we were peeking out 1 by 1 too, and it was looking close
half.
because you definitely know when the comps for Catface are like, Waster's 1 HP, Waster's 1 HP. And at the same time, you see that also realizes that. So they're like, I'm going to try to save my teammates, so I'm going to throw my life to try to keep them alive. And we can try to play a protocol for 2 versus 1s. But then Elaborate was almost able to isolate every single one of those fights. Almost had the crosshair placement on the Phantom as well on the 1v1. But it's going to be that Sova on the side of Rev that allows finally the first point and potentially only point of the half to happen here for Rev. Thankfully, though, you have enough money for an op. It's a glass cannon for a Thump. We're looking to challenge down towards that mid.
Shadows travel.
Kind of these smoke placements from Kid have been really critical. No one home, unfortunately for Raven. No friendly show match to go get through. For the first time, we're seeing Catface having to default and kind of slow it down. At least first time since like the beginning of the game. Once they kind of realized they were running the game, Catface were able to flood in and do whatever they wanted. And now giving a lot more respect to people like Waster, I feel like.
We shall see, because I don't think so. The TP, at least on the defensive side, does get good information to get the players ready on the defense, so Thumb might try to swing out for a knock kill, but unfortunately decides otherwise. And there you go. The disrespect and waster.
My ultimate is ready.
I'm just wanting to see this neural theft come out eventually, but I guess I won't. That's
Another
sad.
snipe.
Enemy remaining.
And then maybe in another universe. But in this universe, it's 11-1 for Catface. And hey,
Switching
it's
sides.
not going to be a flawless half for Catface, but hey, I thought Waster had a fantastic round there. And again, being able to leverage your smokes and really destructure Catface was an inkling that I had that Revitalize could have used more.
Yeah, it just feels like we have to wait an extra round for the inevitable, right? Instead of a 13-0, it's a piss around for Catface, and then finally it's over. No, but I jokes aside, I'm hoping to see something come out of Revitalize. That's hence the name of their organization. So hopefully we'll see that heartbeat come back up, and then they still show a little bit of fight here in this pistol round, and it starts off with a setup for a full hit onto this B site, but it is a nice little high-low from both Elaborate and Kestrel.
Still important to note as well, like 0-4 is you being eliminated. Important game for Revitalize to try and turn around, and Kestrel is being tested. Multiple swing their way. The reload is the biggest off, and they escape with 14 HP. Now you got Revitalize chasing. Okay, the shot bolt. Wait, the Fox now has a Guardian Angel and wins that. This is so goofy and hilarious and awesome to watch.
Yeah, first off, I went for the hog because I was like, where is this shock dart going from? It was trying to land towards that front to break potentially like a chamber trip or something like that, but it just hit the top side of the roof. The high-low ended up being perfect on the side here of Kestrel and Elaborate, and somehow, as you've mentioned, Kestrel stays alive. The smoke that was thrown on the defense to save her too from Blue Owl, so she could dash away. She could dash away rather towards drop and put themselves at map in series point, and not even a plant for Revitalize. So they have nothing but Sheriff's half armor. Outlaw is going to be devastating right now in the hands of Kestrel.
All right, Blue Owl. Okay, the drive-by kill from Scaredy's pretty nice. Thump getting involved, ignores Raven. Raven doesn't get ignored by anyone else. Revitalize doing a lot of work considering the buy that they had before. Yeah. And Luna Fox is in an aim trainer. Let's watch how it ends. One left, 3 players hunting. And as about to get crunched, Luna Fox claims the final kill with a 4K. 13-1 is an exclamation mark for Catface.